What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel on this beautiful Saturday. And today we are kind of doing a twofer. I wasn't sure necessarily what video to do today. I always kind of want that third series, and I'm not ready to figure out what my third series is going to be. So you're not just getting like a combination of Lions, rebuild, Lions, rebuild, Lions, rebuild. That's going to be a bad pattern, but I already did like a lot of like the scouting tips and all that stuff, early within the first week of Madden. So I was sitting here being like, you know what? Well, maybe I should highlight my draft class. And I was like, well, I'm actually like, at that point, week 3 in the Detroit Lions franchise, that we could talk about the draft class. So I figured, why not do a twofer? Why not announce that my draft class 2021 is now live for PC, and 2022 will be done very, very shortly. I'll show you right at the end here, after we get through the 2021, what the 2022 is starting to look like. I was able to get that 2022 class ported over for Madden 20, so I just need to touch it up, but that's a draft class that has Keaton Slavish, USC. You got Derek Stingley from LSU. You got Kayvon Thibodeau on Oregon. Like some really, really good players. But today, primarily our focus will be the 2021 draft, as this will go down as a Detroit Lions episode, because these are going to be all the players that we need to keep an eye on. Our short list, get an idea of the prospects that we want for our Detroit Lions franchise. So if you are on PC, go check out the Franchise Mod Discord. That's the Discord that has helped me out with the Hawaii Warriors franchise, Pink Slips. I had one of the team members from the college football mod that you might have heard about on PC. He went through this first little wave of players in this draft, rounds 1 through 7, and made the correct equipment updates. That's one thing I'm terrible about. If you've ever used my draft class and you're like into equipment, you might be like, wow, this is way off. I'm just not good at doing that. So luckily I was able to get some help out there. And this is our draft class. So we'll go through it as, highlighting both the interest for the Detroit Lions, as well as you guys just generally knowing what's going under the hood for the drafts. I will state right now, better now than ever, is that they're not coming on console this year. The worst thing about my Madden 21 life last year was people on console asking when, where, what updates for my draft classes were going to be. Because usually I have an Excel sheet that's very bare bones. It kind of just gives me what the player, just it's essentially literally like a short list of players. There's nothing about stats. I kind of just go in and off on my own tangents when I'm creating these players, because I do have my personal preferences and my biases in my draft classes. So that, the PC ones were always, I was hands-on with them. But on console, I was always just looking out to other users to kind of outsource it, and it just became the worst part of my life. My Discord became overran with people asking when are my draft classes coming out on Xbox, PlayStation, GameCube, Game Boy Advance, all that stuff, and I was like, I have no control. I have no timeline. I don't have any influence over the ratings, and it just became too much of a hassle. So this year, I'll officially endorse draft classes. I know Bengal has a draft class going on for PS4. And on Xbox, I still have yet to find one that I can, fully endorse just yet. I will get the Xbox Series X. I will be playing on that. So maybe, just maybe, obviously that's a lot. That'll be, into 2021. But maybe it'll be that long, and then I actually will make a Xbox draft class. But right now, this is on PC only, and I have zero intention on bringing them over to console. So if I do find a draft class that I do endorse on PlayStation, which I already did with Bengal, and on Xbox, just stay posted on the Twitter, and I'll let you guys know. I think that franchise guy, TFG, is working on something for Xbox. He knows his stuff, so that when that one fully comes out, I'll share it, and I'll endorse that one. So that being said, let's get into the draft for our Detroit Lions. I mean, we're looking at the quarterback spot. This is a position that I am definitely interested in. Not the top-end players. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, those two in particular are going to be completely out of range. I don't think we should be investing a premier pick to replace Matt Stafford just yet. Hell, we even traded for Josh Rosen. There might still be something there. However, if some QBs start to slip, Trey Lance could slip into the second round. That could be interesting. We got Kyle Trask from Florida. I think he could potentially be like a mini Joe Burrow. I don't think he's going to be throwing 65 touchdowns, but I think Kyle Trask could be a guy that right now, if you're not super into college football, but you kind of know, he's maybe a third round pick. And I can tell you right now, as a Gator fan, he might not even be the best scheme fit for the Florida Gators at quarterback. I think Emory Jones might be that, but Kyle Trask has all the desirable traits for an NFL quarterback. I think he's going to be a big riser. You got Jamie Newman, the transfer from Wake Forest, now at Georgia. I think he wins the job from JT Daniels. We'll have Newman come out this year. JT Daniels will be in the 2022 class. But Newman, another very interesting one. We got Brock Purdy, Tanner Morgan, KJ Costello. Those are like, I mean, Newman, for what we're building here in Detroit, we probably want the more traditional quarterback, pocket passer. 6'4" for Costello. We got 6'4" Newman, 6'5" Kyle Trask, and even Trey Lance. He's that weird little meshy hybrid where he is a scrambler, but he's also not really a scrambler. So it's, I mean, there are definitely some interesting quarterbacks. You get in the day, late day 3. Obviously, Derek King, the scrambler, the transfer from Houston now in Miami. He could be like a low key Heisman candidate, but I think for us. UDFAs, there are some guys there. I decided to throw in Mackenzie Milton in the draft. That's one hell of a story. He's playing football again. Would be nice for him to come back for UCF, win in, if they play football this year. But, I do think that there's going to be someone in, late day 2, day 3 range that will definitely tickle our fancy and bring them into the quarterback room. Running backs, not so much. I mean, it's a very good draft class for running backs. ETN, Chuba Hubbard, Shadow Canada, Najee Harris, you got Journey Brown, CJ Verdell, Kenneth Gainwell, Kennedy Brooks. Really, through the first 3 rounds, all those guys have ceilings of being NFL starters. Outside of that, we got Borey receiving back, Zamir White, redshirt sophomore, Kylan Hill, Sermon, Puka Williams. And I actually got all the UDFAs done here for the running back spot. But generally, this is not a position that concerns us for the Detroit Lions franchise. We have Kerryon Johnson, we have DeAndre Swift, and it's very early. It's only been 2 weeks. And then you also throw in the fact Jason Huntley stole a show in the preseason. Running backs, which is weird to say because Detroit has not had a great history of running backs. Running back is actually a position that is not on my board whatsoever. I mean, if we're getting late day 3, someone slips, someone like explosive like a Puka Williams or something like that, maybe if the value is just too much. But right now, I'm good at running back. I have 3 fullbacks. Find another draft class that has 3 legit fullback prospects. I dare you to. But yeah, for fullback, I don't know. I mean, maybe we do operate with a fullback in the scheme. But again, I feel like when all is said and done, I would not count out Bo Scarborough being our fullback eventually. Wide receiver, now another position that not really is a weakness here for Detroit. However, we have old veterans. Marvin Jones Jr., Danny Amendola. These guys are in 30s. We may need to find a long-term suitable replacement with Kenny Galladay. So really, you can't go wrong with any of these first-round wide receivers. Jamar Chase, Rondale Moore, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, and Rashad Bateman from Minnesota. I would draft any of them, wherever we pick. Because, I mean, we still don't even really have a true read of where we're going to finish record-wise with Detroit. So I can't even assume if we're going to be top 10 and have a chance at one of these elite guys, or are we going to be middle of the park, and there'll just be no realistic option to get one of these top 10 players. But, I mean, even going out into the second round, Tylan Wallace, Sage Surratt, Terrace Marshall, Tutu Atwell, Chris Olave, Tamorion Terry. You got Anthony Schwartz, the speedster out of Auburn, Seth Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyler Vaughns, TJ Vasher. I think that the top 16, top 15, top 16 names, all those guys would certainly be very interesting to bring in here to Detroit. I think they all have different skill sets. What we're looking for, honestly, I'm probably looking for a deep threat. Someone like Anthony Schwartz, who's one of the best track athletes in college football. I think Tutu Atwell, very, very unique deep threat that you could potentially bring in here. Same with Tylan Wallace. I think that's what we need. We need more speed. Amendola is not particularly fast. Obviously, at this point in his career, Marvin Jones is like 90 speed. I wouldn't mind getting someone 93, 94 speed that I could put on the outside. That would be a burner. And guys that kind of fit that mold going deep. Smith Marset of Iowa, more of a return man. Marquez Stevenson out of Houston got some speed to him. Demetrius Robinson is a great athlete. But I think that is the biggest thing. We need to get a burner at wide receiver in this year's draft, and I don't know where. J.D. Spielman is a UDFA, TCU, transfer from Nebraska. He brings some good speed as well, but definitely want to eye in on speed. And I know Marcus Stevenson is one of the fastest players in the draft in that 5th round. He's definitely a guy that we're going to be paying attention on. Tight end, we're good. We got Hawkinson. We traded for Herndon, but this is a really good draft class for tight ends. I think really the top 4 are all guys that will be starters in the NFL. Kyle Pitts is elite out of Florida. More of that receiver style. Freiermuth, well-rounded. Brevin Jordan, receiver style. Charlie Kohler out of Iowa State, more well-rounded, more traditional. Matt Bushman, more towards a receiver style. But I think all 5 of these guys offer really, really unique skill sets, and they should hit the ground running in their careers. But, I mean, again, not like running back. Unless there's really good value, I don't think we're going to be pulling the trigger at the tight end spot. O-line is where we absolutely can use some help. Again, I think long-term starters that we feel confident about, because Decker's contract's up in there, really, we have Ragnow at center. Everyone else, could be replaceable. So you have Sewell, who might be the best tackle prospect I've ever seen. First rounder, I mean, that's a dream draft. That'd probably be our dream first round pick right now, would be Sewell. Carmen out of Clemson, Cosme of Texas, Eckenberg from Notre Dame, Leatherwood from Bama, all legit first round players that we would definitely have to put on our short board. You got Petrulli, even outside of that, the gigantic mountain of a man, Falele from Minnesota, 6'9", 400 pounds. Lucas is solid. I mean, it's a solid year for tackles. But I definitely think we prioritize getting one in the first 3 rounds for sure. If not, almost automatically grabbing one in the first round. Guard, we have Deontay Brown from Bama. Solid year from Georgia. Haynes from Oklahoma. Donaldson from Miami. Some solid depth in the interior. 2 really, really standout center players in Creed Humphrey from Oklahoma and Linderbaum from Iowa. But again, with Ragnow, unless we really want someone like Humphrey where there's no one else on the O-line, but we could feel confident in sliding him into guard, I don't think we're going to be drafting a center. Same with guard. Wyatt Davis, right up there with Sewell, elite guard. I wouldn't say he's quite on Quentin Nelson's level in terms of prospect when Nelson was coming out of Notre Dame, but I think he's probably, if I'm thinking about interior line players, he's probably top 5 of the last 10 years. Wyatt Davis is exceptional, definitely on our big board for a player that we want to look at. Trey Smith, another legit option, especially if we can get him in the second round. He's a guy that brings some guard tackle flexibility. Tackle outside of that, we got another Canadian, Alaric Jackson of Iowa, Walker Little, Mayfield, Van Lanen, Slater. I really think in the first 3 rounds here at right tackle, there's also really, really good options. So, we got Big V locked into an expensive contract here in Detroit, but would not hurt, especially if one of these guys, or 2 of them, start to slip 3-4, somewhere in that range. We could definitely consider making a move. Defensively, again, something where Who, are we going to find our legitimate complement to Trey Flowers? Is it going to be Josh Sweat? Is it going to be, an Aquara? Or do we look at improving it here in the draft? Basham at a Wake Forest fits our scheme, 6'5", 275. Quincy Roche, the Temple transfer to Miami. Very, very big-time player for Miami. Huge, I think one of the biggest transfers in all of college football. Everyone wants to talk about Jamie Newman. I think Roche is right there. Outside of that, I mean, there's not a great late round. I mean, that actually could be another late round round. Jalen Phillips, another Miami edge rusher, the former #1 high school player that committed to UCLA, transferred to Miami. I think there could be a very, very high ceiling there. But generally speaking, I think this is going to be a draft that you want to get that top-end edge rusher if you really want one. And it's definitely a position we need to consider. Greg Rousseau out of Miami, freak of nature. Kwity Paye, freak of nature. 2 guys here that are going to be athletic marvels. Rousseau more along the lines of, that top 5 pick. He's probably not going to be in the range for us to pick. But Paye, definitely someone to consider keeping in the state of Michigan. I like Ellerson Smith out of Northern Iowa, big 6'7", Div 2 player. So I do think we will be able to add a D end or 2 in this draft. But again, gotta have to wait and see what Josh Sweat brings to the team this year and understand how big of a priority we need to make edge rusher. D tackle, I mean, we're good there. We flipped Deshaun Hand from D end to D tackle. We have Danny Shelton, but Twyman's elite, Marvin Wilson's elite, Barmore's elite, Tufele's elite. It's a really good year to use D tackles, and they kind of fit in the idea of the Madden generate draft classes. It's pretty much on par. Madden generate draft classes, the D tackles are absolutely stacked, and this year in 2020 will be. One thing actually I should note about my draft class to kind of get out of the It's Just a Lions video is that if you've noticed that the Madden generate draft classes, it's if you played Madden 21, you know it's very, very difficult to draft tackles and linemen. So what I have actually done is I've made, if it's a really good lineman, I'm trying to make most of these guys that are, real legit draftable prospects. Maybe they might be 1 or 2 points overall higher, just because once you get out of these created custom draft classes and get back into the world of Madden generated ones, there's going to be that big drop off. So at least when you're using my draft classes, you're going to get a little bit of a helping hand when it comes to drafting linemen. And a big thing for my draft classes that will stand out is I have gone off with the dev traits. Because there's no way to upgrade offensive line with their dev traits, if they have a ceiling of an elite player, I'm going to give them that dev trait right away. Obviously for O-linemen, superstar dev is the highest you can get. But I'll tell you right now, Sewell, obviously superstar dev, but someone like Carmen, Cosme, Eckenberg, Leatherwood, you might say star devs, right? Start them out there, let them see what happens when they get in the NFL, and maybe they can reach that ceiling of being an elite player. However, there's just no opportunity for that to happen. So if they have a really, really high ceiling, you're going to find Depth traits for offensive linemen in my draft class might be a little overpowered, but there's a reason why we do that, is because there's no way to upgrade your depth trait right now unless they get patched in at a later date for your linemen. So I'm helping you out. It just makes the most sense to give good offensive line players the depth traits now, because you're not going to get them through the game later. So going to the linebacker core, this is another spot that, I mean, you look at our team, we could, depending on the player that's there. If Micah Parsons is there, by all means, he pretty much would be able to fill the role of Jamie Collins. They're the exact same kind of style player, hybrid tweeners, 3-4-4-3. It's exactly what we need. So if Parsons is still there, while you might not think outside linebackers a need, I might have to pull the trigger. But there's some good edge rushers here. Rasheed had a bunch of sacks last year at Oregon State. Everyone says, yes, that is his name. He goes by Big Cat Bryant. Remember, I got tagged like, oh my God, there's no way this guy's real. Like, yeah, he's real. Watch college football, please. Inside, Dylan Moses, a guy that probably would have been a top 10 pick last year, went back to Alabama after an injury. I mean, he's elite. Surratt's elite. Converted quarterback there for North Carolina. Monty Rice was a guy that some people thought would declare last year and be a potential first-round, second-round pick. He's really, really solid. It's a good year for a middle linebacker. I'll say that. We got Shaka Tony Snowden, 6'7", all 6'7". Gets swiped right a whole lot on Tinder, but he's a really nice-looking player. Jabril Cox, North Dakota State transfer, going to LSU. He could be a riser for sure on draft boards, but it's a solid year to need linebackers for sure. The secondary is strong. Very, very strong. Arguably the most depth out of any position in this draft, I would say, outside of wide receiver and D tackle. You got Sean Wade, Adebo, Certain, really razor thin between these, even four. You could throw Caleb Farley in it from Virginia Tech. Who is truly going to be the top corner? I'm just going with Sean Wade because the hype was real. I think Certain easily could be number 2, but for the time being, we'll keep him at 3. Mukwamu is one of my favorite players in the SEC out of South Carolina. He's great size, 6'4", 200 pounds. Got a bunch of picks last season. We got Marco Wilson, Tyson Campbell. I mean, you're looking at our team, we definitely need to get better, even though we have Okudah. But, I mean, Trufant's not getting the job done. I think corner, depending on who potentially slips out here for Detroit, could definitely play themselves onto our draft board. And I think there's really good value here in all rounds. Every single round, there's a player or two that I definitely am going to key in on. We are man-to-man, so obviously scheme fit. We don't want to get a zone guy by any means. But slot guys will definitely fit because they like to tackle, like to get after it. And I definitely would be highlighting all these potential corners. Especially, hey, why not pair Jeff Okudah with his partner from Ohio State in Sean Wade? Safeties. We got another Canadian. My God, Canada is taking over college football. We got Javon Holland out of Oregon, A-tier athlete. I mean, honestly, we could definitely consider bringing in a safety. Cisco's solid. Paris Ford's solid. There's good depth here at free safety. Strong safety. More so, you get those hybrid tweener linebackers, Nazrul Dean, Lars Woodbay, Caden Stearns, really, really strong tacklers that aren't going to be liabilities in coverage. But, safety's not a major need for us, but it's definitely something we could consider. And we're pretty much good on special teams. I mean, we could look for a punter. Max Duffy, SEC first team. Turk straight up like dominated the combine. And then he just decided, I'm going back to school. So he's definitely someone we consider. And I think his dad or uncle or something like that used to be the punter for the Ravens. But that is my draft class here. The 2021, it's live on PC and giving us a good idea, man. Lots of talent at positions of need here for the Detroit Lions. Let me know in particular, guys, in the comments what players you want to target. What players should absolutely be on my short list here for the Detroit Lions franchise. I definitely want to base my draft board about what you guys are kind of thinking, what direction we should go, what positions we should prioritize. So let me know. I do want to just finish up really, really quickly by teasing the 2022 draft class, which is about 70% done. Just showing you like what's in store. So just give me a sec here. And here's a little sneak peek at what is going on here in 2022. At least some of the first round players that we got. Like I said, Thibodeau, Stingley Jr., Slovis. We got Pickens from Georgia, Dax Hill, Garrett Wilson, Drake Jackson, Sam Howell. Really solid top 10 guys that I don't think too many people would dispute that are within the top 10. Outside of that, Nolan Smith's elite. Still working on airing out. Master Teague, a guy who debatably could declare for 2021, but I haven't come back. Spencer Rattler's there. We got Pickens, Kyer Elam, Zach Harrison, Trey Sanders. Really good corner. A lot of depth to the corner spot. But again, like I said, man, I'm just starting to work on this. But if you are on PC, stay posted to the social medias, to Twitter, on the Franchise Mod Discord, which is the link is in the description. Definitely go check that out. All my updates for my draft classes on PC will be getting posted there. Plus, if you just are on PC and you're not in that Discord, what are you doing with your life? Join it. But I will be posting my draft classes sooner than later. But we might as well just end it right here, fellas. There is a little bit of a preview of the draft classes, but again, focusing everything back to the Lions franchise. Let me know what players you absolutely think we must draft in the 2021 draft. Obviously, a lot of time to go by, and as we get through the weeks, another little segment, if you will, of our Lions will be kind of recapping our scouting for that given week. So don't just act like this is the last time we're talking about it, and we'll never revisit it. But there we go. That is it, man. It is time. It is time to keep on keeping on. Tomorrow will be a new rebuild, and then on Monday we'll be back for the next episode of the Detroit Lions franchise. So as always, guys, if you're enjoying the series, if you appreciate the draft classes, if you're on PC and you're using it, be sure to hit that subscribe button, support the channel, smash the like button if you're hyped for the draft classes that I've absolutely busted my ass to get ready for my content. And like obviously with these two draft classes, once I get this one done, we'll be a lot more closer to starting a realistic rebuild series on the channel, which I am always excited to get into, you know, as the inventor, copyright patent pending. But that'll do it for me. Thank you for watching, and until next time, it's C4 saying peace